All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're tackling Matthew chapter 10, which is a really big deal in the New Testament. And hey, if you're kind of new to the Bible, this is a great chapter to dig into. It's got action, it's got a clear mission, but it also has some ideas that are, well, they're pretty tough to chew on. So let's get into it.
So picture this. Jesus is ready to take his mission to the next level. I mean, he's been teaching and healing, but it's time to scale things up, right? And to do that, you need a team. But the team he puts together, wow. Let's just say it's a fascinating bunch. And probably not the all-stars you'd expect to, change the world.
So first up, let's meet the crew. Who exactly were these 12 guys who got handed this massive job? We usually call them disciples, but right here in this chapter, they get a new job title, and it comes with a whole lot of meaning.
And this is a really important shift. The word for them changes from disciples, which basically means students or learners, to apostles. That comes from a Greek word that means one who is sent. This is a huge deal. It's like a promotion. They're not just following and learning anymore. Now they're official representatives. They're being sent out with the full authority of Jesus behind them. You could almost think of them as his ambassadors.
And here's the lineup, the original 12. You've probably heard of some of them, right? Simon, who we also know as Peter, and his brother Andrew. James and John, another set of brothers. These four were all fishermen. Then you've got Matthew, the guy who actually wrote this book, and he was a tax collector. And then there are a few others, including, of course, the one name that everyone knows for all the wrong reasons, Judas Iscariot.
So you got to understand, this was not the dream team. You've got a bunch of uneducated fishermen, you have a tax collector, and back then, tax collectors were basically seen as traitors working for the enemy, for Rome. And then, get this, you have Simon the Zealot. The Zealots were radical fanatics who wanted to violently overthrow Rome. These guys should have hated each other. In any other situation, they would have been on opposite sides. And yet, Jesus puts them all on the same team. It's this motley crew of regular guys and political enemies, and they're the ones who get called to do something incredible.
Okay, so the team's in place. Now what? Well, Jesus gives them their very first assignment. And the instructions he lays out are super specific. This is not some vague, hey guys, go out and do good things kind of mission. No, this is a targeted operation with very clear objectives.
And the briefing is crystal clear. Point 1, who are you talking to? For this particular mission, and this is important, they were told to only go to the lost sheep of Israel, their fellow Jews. Point 2, what's the message? It's the exact same one Jesus has been preaching. The kingdom of heaven is near. Point 3, how do you prove you're legit? They were given the power to heal people and cast out demons. Miracles that would basically act as their credentials, proof that their message was the real deal. And finally, point 4, how do you travel? Travel light, like really light. No extra cash, no change of clothes. The idea was for them to completely rely on the hospitality of others, trusting that their needs would be met.
And this one line really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The power they had, the message they carried, it was all a gift. They didn't earn it, they didn't pay for it, so they were supposed to give it away just as freely. No charging for a healing, no asking for money. It's a really powerful idea about what their mission was all about.
All right, so the team is picked, the mission is clear. Sounds great, right? But Jesus doesn't just give them a high five and send them on their way. Not at all. He hits them with a serious reality check about what's coming. And you can really feel the tone of the whole chapter shift right here. I mean, listen to this metaphor. It's so vivid. Sheep are, well, they're sheep. They're vulnerable, they can't really defend themselves, and wolves, they're predators. He's basically telling them, point blank, you are walking into a hostile situation. A lot of people are not going to like what you have to say. You're going to be in danger. This isn't just a friendly heads up, it's a serious warning.
So if you're a sheep walking among wolves, how in the world are you supposed to survive? Well, Jesus gives them this incredible piece of advice that's all about balance. On the one hand, he says, be as shrewd as serpents. In other words, be smart, be wise, don't be naive. But on the other hand, be as innocent as doves. Be pure, be harmless. It's this amazing call to have tactical wisdom while never, ever compromising your character.
But here's the thing that's so powerful. Even with all these warnings, we're talking about persecution, betrayal, all kinds of hostility. The one command that gets repeated over and over again in this section is, do not be afraid. It's like Jesus is preparing them for the absolute worst, but at the very same time, he's giving them the most important tool they need, courage. A courage that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, their ultimate fate isn't in the hands of the wolves.
And that brings us to the last part of the chapter. And honestly, it might be the toughest part to swallow. Because this is where Jesus spells out, with no sugarcoating, what it really costs to follow him.
And let me tell you, the price is high.
Yeah, this verse can really throw you for a loop, and it's easy to misunderstand. Jesus isn't saying he's here to start a literal war. The sword he's talking about is a symbol for division. He's saying that his message is so radical, and it demands such a complete commitment that it will inevitably divide people. It can even split apart the closest families, because some will choose to follow him and others won't. And that creates conflict.
And then we get this phrase that we hear all the time, take up your cross. We might say that about dealing with the tough project at work or something, but we have to remember what a cross meant in the first century. It meant one thing and one thing only, a slow, painful, humiliating death by Roman execution. So when Jesus says this, he's not talking about small daily frustrations. He's talking about a total surrender. It means being willing to let your own plans, your own ambitions, your own life die so you can follow him with everything you've got.
So the cost is huge. Your loyalty to this cause has to come before everything else, even your family. You have to be willing to lose your life, which means letting go of your own ambitions and your own comfort for something bigger. And the choice you make to publicly say, I'm with him, or to deny it, that's not just a small decision for the moment. It has consequences that last forever.
So yeah, Matthew 10 it's intense. On one level, it's about a very specific mission for a specific group of people at a specific time. But the principles in it, they definitely still resonate today. And it really leaves us with a big question to think about, doesn't it? For them, the call was radical and the cost was everything. So it makes you wonder, what does that kind of all-in commitment to a cause that's bigger than you, what does that look like for us today?